Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Two sides going in two very different directions. President-elect Biden launches his transition as President Trump digs in and promises to fight the results in court.
MSU's legendary basketball coach, who's been at the forefront of pushing for mask wearing, says he's caught COVID-19. And Tom Izzo says he's not sure where he caught it.
New hope after the U.S. reaches a grim milestone in the battle against COVID-19. As of today, 10 million Americans have now contracted the virus. But there's positive news about a vaccine from Pfizer and just how effective it could be.
But today's coronavirus numbers prove that vaccine just can't come soon enough. 9,010 new cases of COVID-19 here in Michigan over the past 2 days, averaging out to more than 4,500 cases a day. We've also lost 62 more Michiganders to the virus over those past 48 hours. We want to get back to that news we told you about right at the top. Tom Izzo says he has tested positive for COVID-19.
Yeah, let's get right over to Bernie. And Bernie, he says he has no idea where or who he got it from.
No idea whatsoever. Started feeling symptoms a couple days ago on November 7th. This morning tested positive. Word came about an hour ago. Tom Izzo, 65 years old, says he has taken every precaution to guard against the virus. He spoke less than an hour ago and says, don't let your guard down.
But I would say to you, don't let up for a second, especially those of you that have kids or families or even for yourself. You just got to stick to the protocol and hope for the best. And when it doesn't work out like it didn't for me, I'm going to continue to do what I got to do and continue to be an advocate just like I've been.
Yeah, we can use more of him, that's for sure. He says he has minor symptoms. You heard him clearing his throat a little bit. But now he says he has plenty of time to watch game film. He can return November 17th after a 10-day isolation period. Symptoms first appeared November 7th. 10 days later, the 17th. Assistant Dwayne Stevens takes over for Tom Izzo. Back later with much, much more on that, the Lions and Michigan. Kids, back to you.
All right, Bernie, back to you shortly. Now, also just in, Beaumont Health is putting new visitor restrictions in place because of the outbreak. Starting tomorrow morning, visitors will only be allowed in if a patient meets specific criteria. This policy going in place at Beaumont's Royal Oak, Troy, and Grosse Pointe hospitals until further notice. We've got the full details at clickondetroit.com.
Our other top story tonight, positive news about one of the COVID vaccine candidates currently undergoing phase 3 human trials.
Dr. Frank McGeorge here now with the announcement, as well as what it means and, just as importantly, Frank, what it doesn't mean for the possibility of a vaccine in the near future.
Yeah, Kim and Devin. So the announcement came from the Independent Data Monitoring Committee that's actually tasked with periodically evaluating data on the joint Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. The news? The vaccine has a 90% efficacy, meaning those who had 2 doses of the Pfizer vaccine 3 weeks apart had 90% fewer cases of symptomatic COVID-19 compared to individuals who just received the placebo. That is far better than the 50% minimum that the FDA has set.
The vaccine is one of 2 mRNA vaccines currently under investigation. The other is from Moderna. The mRNA vaccines are the most high-tech being tested, using small bits of genetically engineered viral RNA that allow our cells to make the viral spike proteins that we then become immune to. The joint Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine trial has so far enrolled over 43,000 participants from around the world, representing diverse racial and ethnic backgrounds. The Data Monitoring Committee uses predetermined triggers that say when to look at the data for safety and effectiveness. In this case, the trigger for the first analysis was after 94 COVID cases had occurred in study participants.
It is a great day for science. It is a great day for humanity when you realize that your vaccine has a 90% effectiveness. That's overwhelming.
The final analysis will occur after 164 confirmed cases. Pfizer still has to wait before it can apply for an emergency use authorization until a safety analysis can be done. The trigger for the safety analysis will occur when at least half of the participants have had both doses of the vaccine for at least 2 months. That's expected to occur during the 3rd week in November. If both safety and effectiveness milestones have been reached, Pfizer is expected to file for an emergency use authorization to distribute their vaccine.
Now, although this is very promising news, questions still remain. For example, we don't know how long any immunity would last. Will it be able to reduce the risk of severe disease if a vaccinated person becomes infected? And we don't know if it prevents asymptomatic disease that could actually contribute to transmission. Now, these answers will only come in time with more study.
So realistically then, Doc, how soon could this vaccine be rolled out if, best case scenario, and everything went smoothly?
Well, you know, Devin, once they have all the data to the FDA, there could actually be a decision sometime in December. After that, it's a matter of distribution. Now, globally, they have about 50 million doses that are ready this year. That's enough for about 25 million people around the world. But as they ramp up production, they actually expect to deliver 1.3 billion doses in 2021.
Such a massive logistical undertaking. All right, Doc.
Really is. All right, well, and news of the Pfizer vaccine results sent the stock market surging today. At the close, the Dow was up 835 points, and that's just part of the story. At the opening today, the market surged by 1,600 points. Travel and leisure stocks led the day on the high side, and the so-called stay-at-home stocks saw big losses. So think Netflix was down 8%, and Zoom logged a 17% loss.
Also this Monday, we're getting brand new data on COVID-19 cases inside Michigan schools.
The state reports 50 new schools across the state are reporting 2 or more connected cases of COVID-19. Notably here at home, Imlay City High School reporting 4 new cases. In terms of ongoing outbreaks, the University of Michigan reports 1,064 cases, and Wyandotte High School downriver is reporting 20 cases. The state of Michigan expands the use of coronavirus exposure app for residents to use statewide. The announcement comes weeks after the state began testing the technology in Ingham County and on the campus of Michigan State University. App users who possibly were within 6 feet of an infected person for at least 15 minutes are notified. So far, more than 46,000 people downloaded My COVID Alert onto their smartphones.
President-elect Joe Biden officially launches his transition today with a primary focus on fighting the pandemic. The incoming administration is moving forward without help from the White House as President Trump continues to weigh his options. Alice Barr is following it from the nation's capital. Alice.
Devin, President Trump and his supporters continue to question the outcome of this election, preparing for battle on a series of legal challenges, while Joe Biden's team is moving forward with the transition of power.
Good afternoon, everyone.
In his first working day as president-elect, Joe Biden making his top priority clear.
It starts with doing everything possible to get the COVID-19 under control.
Biden meeting today with his new pandemic advisory team, celebrating promising news of an effective vaccine in the pipeline, and until it's ready, making a bipartisan plea for masks.
It doesn't matter your party, your point of view. We could save tens of thousands of lives if everyone would just wear a mask.
The Biden team moving forward with the transition, even as President Trump contests the outcome, claiming fraud without offering evidence. The Trump campaign pushing ahead with legal challenges and rebuffing calls to concede.
That word's not even in our vocabulary right now.
The Trump appointee heading the General Services Administration so far refusing to authorize the resources to help the Biden team ramp up its transition work. And while supporters, including Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, are standing by the president.
President Trump is 100% within his rights to look into allegations of irregularities.
Some establishment Republicans are congratulating the new president-elect, including former President George W. Bush and Senator Mitt Romney. As the jockeying continues, today Vice President Mike Pence leading the Trump administration's first COVID task force meeting in 3 weeks. That as news breaks of more COVID infections at the White House. Housing and Urban Development Secretary Ben Carson testing positive, the first known case to hit the president's cabinet.
While President-elect Biden lays out his goals for the first 100 days in office, including rejoining the World Health Organization and the Paris Climate Agreement, President Trump is considering holding campaign-style rallies in states where he's suing or calling for a recount. From the White House, Alice Barr, Local 4.
Okay, Alice. Now, with Michigan's vote nearly fully counted, there are a lot of accusations about what should come next.
Our Grant Herms sorted through what actually happens next in this tumultuous election.
Unfounded theories and a lack of evidence aside, the process is pretty straightforward, although it does take longer than most Michiganders realize, meaning despite claims of the opposite, we've never had the results of an election on the night of.
With Michigan's vote nearly all counted, the timeline of what happens next is slow but necessary. Counties across the state have already started what's called canvassing or reviewing the vote tallies. It's here candidates can make challenges to individual votes and canvassers can correct obvious counting errors. But the process needs to be done by November 17th, when county boards have to send their totals to the Secretary of State. On November 23rd, the State Board of Canvassers meet to do another review of the totals and hear more challenges. From there, the board certifies those votes and approves the electors for the Electoral College. On December 8th, also called Safe Harbor Day, Michigan is required by law to certify its vote or get Congress involved if they're disputed. On December 14th, Michigan's 16 electors meet to vote for the candidates their names represented on the ballot. And according to state law, electors are required to vote for the candidate they represent or they risk being removed and replaced. Finally, once those votes are cast, they're sent to Congress on January 6th to be certified and made official in the Senate.
There are a lot of places this could be halted or changed, including through the courts, through challenging electors, and through stopping the count. I'll take a look at some of those claims coming up at 6 o'clock. In Detroit, Grant Herms, Local 4.
Okay, Grant. Well, there's no real precedent if Congress were to fail to certify the election by the inauguration because it has never happened in American history.
Off and running on this Monday, let's check in with Hank Winchester. Hank.
A major shakeup inside Michigan's unemployment insurance agency, what it could mean for those of you still looking to file for benefits. I'm Hank Winchester. Help me, Hank, tonight.
Well, the Mercury didn't soar quite as high as the stock market did today, but we set our third record high in a row, and we could do it again tomorrow before some big changes show up. More on that coming up.
Big changes in the city of Warren, why they had to shut down City Hall and partially shut down the police department. I'll give you one guess.
One of two people in custody for the murder of Egypt Covington went to court over the weekend. What the Local 4 defenders are learning about this defendant. We're also getting reaction from members of Covington's family. That's next.